Okay, hello everyone. Welcome sa lecture natin for today. Pag-uusapan natin psychometrics. Specifically, we will talk about the role of the normal curve in helping us to interpret test scores. Pero bago ko to i-discuss, let's start with God's Word, Matthew 25:31 to 34, and then we will jump to verse 41. As you will see, connected ito sa normal curve. Okay? When the Son of Man comes in His glory and all the angels with Him, then He will sit on His glorious throne. Before Him will be gathered all the nations, and He will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And He will place the sheep on His right, but the goats on the left. Then the King will say to those on His right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." Then we jump to verse 41. Then He will say to those on His left, "Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels." So mamaya, i-connect natin yung message ng passage na to sa normal curve. What's the point of this passage? We'll know later. Now, the main question I want to answer in this lecture is, how does the normal curve help in giving meaning to raw scores that we get from psychological tests? And in my past lectures, I explained why is it important that our test scores should have meaning. At ang sagot, para magkaroon tayo ng assessment sa tao. Kaya nga tayo nagbibigay ng psychological test para makapag-assess, para ma-describe natin yung psychological condition of the person. And that assessment will make us functional psychological professionals. Dahil nai-interpret natin yung isang raw score via our assessment, alam natin kung sino ang bibigyan ng scholarship, alam natin kung sino ang dapat mag-undergo ng therapy, alam natin kung sino dapat ang i-promote, so on and so forth. So, a psychometrician, a psychologist, being functional, yung pagkakaroon ng silbi, nakadepende yan sa assessment natin sa mga tao. Pero yung assessment natin sa mga tao, nakadepende yan sa ability natin to give meaning to the raw scores. I hope you can connect the dots. Alright? Anyway, so bottom line, mahalaga na talagang dapat ma-interpret natin yung raw scores, and normal curve can help us do that. Now, let's talk about the anatomy of the normal curve, which is again a very important skill na meron ang isang psych major, no? Ito ang itsura ng normal curve. Based on my other lectures, I explained that the normal curve consists of scores. Gawa saan ng normal curve? Hindi sa kahoy, hindi sa bakal, hindi sa papel. Ang normal curve gawa sa set of scores. So, you give a test to a group of people, and then you get all their scores. Pwede mong gamitin yung scores na yon to form a normal curve. So, given any score, as you can see here, x1, x2, x3, yung mga scores na yan, makikita yan within the area of the normal curve, as you can see. Anywhere within the normal curve, kahit saan ka pumunta dyan, that represents a certain score from a certain population. Remember, the middle of the curve is the mean or the average of all the scores in that population, yung gitna. Okay, so as you can see here, ito yung gitna, ibig sabihin ito yung average ng mga scores ng population na ito. So, i-add mo lang lahat ng scores nila divided by kung ilan sila, yan yung magiging gitna ng normal curve. Also, ang normal curve, meron din siyang mga tinatawag na mga normal points. So, ito yung gitna ng normal curve, which is the mean. Meron siyang mga katabing mga quote-unquote station. Imagine LRT. Ang LRT, different stations yan, di ba? So, isang straight line yon, pero marami siyang mga stopovers represented by the stations. Ganun din sa normal curve. At least the base of the normal curve. So, ito yung mean. Ito yung first normal point, another normal point, another normal point to the right. And then meron tatlong normal points on the left of the average. First normal point, second normal point, third normal point. And these normal points, as you can see, will divide the curve into 6 components or 6 areas. Diba? So, naturally, yung curve mo mahahati sa 6 na areas. Ang tanong, ano ang point kung bakit kinakailangan ang curve mahati sa 6 na area? Now, ito na yung sagot sa tanong na yan. No? Very important because kung saang area in these 6 components or compartments babagsak ang isang raw score, doon ngayon manggagaling yung meaning o yung interpretation natin of a certain raw score. So it's very important to know where in the normal curve a score will fall into. Because again, doon nakadepende kung ano ang magiging ibig sabihin ng isang raw score. Let me further illustrate. For example, in this slide, meron tayong 3 scores, x1, x2, x3. Gusto natin malaman anong ibig sabihin, anong interpretation ng x1, x2, x3. Sino makakatulong sa atin na ma-interpret yan yung normal curve na nasa harap ninyo ngayon? So the meaning of x1, x2, x3 again depends on saan nakalocate o saan natin malolocate ang x1, x2, x3 as you can see. So ang meaning pala ng x1 is extremely low average. Ang meaning pala ng x2 is average. Ang meaning pala ng x3 is excellent. Ano ang nagbigay ng interpretation sa x1, x2, x3 kung saang part ng normal curve sila napapaloob? So to summarize what I'm teaching here, just remember this principle: the location of the score on the curve determines the meaning of that score. Kaya mahalaga na alam natin, given the normal curve, saang area ng normal curve babagsak ang isang raw score. That's the only way that we can interpret the meaning of a raw score. Kaya ang isang application dito, no, in the future when you become psychologists and psychometricians, kapag nakakita ka ng isang raw score at tinatanong niya sa iyo kung ano ba siya sa iyo, in my previous lectures, I mentioned about this. Paano mo i-interpret? Paano mo sasagutin yung tanong na yan? Ano ba ang raw score? Ano ang interpretation yan para sa iyo? Ano ang key question that will answer that question? Nasaan ang raw score na ito sa normal curve? Like what I have shown you a while ago. Nagkakaroon ng kahulugan ang raw score kapag alam mo nasaan siya makikita sa normal curve. Alright? Now, i-connect natin dito yung passage that we read a while ago. In this passage, kaya ko to binasa kasi it reflects also this principle. The location determines the meaning. In the passage, merong dalawang location na sinabi, no? Right and left. Kapag ang location ng isang tao is on the right, kapag nilagay siya sa kanan ng Diyos, according to the passage, these people will inherit the kingdom of God. On the other hand, when a person is located on the left of God, that person, hindi ako nagsabi nito, no? That person will be put into eternal fire. You see the assessment there? Saan nanggaling yung assessment dito? Saan nanggaling yung assessment na will inherit the kingdom of God versus the assessment of put that person in the eternal fire? Nakadepende yon sa location of that person in God's sight. Whether that person is on his right or on his left. Got that? So, same principle in the normal curve. Yung kahulugan ng score, nakadepende yan kung nasaan sa normal curve yung score. It's just that in the passage, mas simple. Kasi hindi naman to gumagamit ng normal curve eh. Ano lang to? Left and right. Got that? But the principle is the same. Location determines meaning. Oh, kaya nga, going back to this passage, my key question now, before we go back to the normal curve is, when God judges you today, when He comes today, or later on, when you come to see Him after you die, will God place you on His left or on His right? This is one of the most important questions that you need to answer. Mas mahalaga pa to kung papasa ka ba ng psychological assessment o hindi. This is the most important question that all human beings should answer. Sana pag-isipan mo, no? Anyway, going back to the normal curve, the next question now is, if location determines interpretation of the score, how can we then know nasaan ang isang score sa normal curve? Paano natin malalaman, for example, kung yung 85/100, under ba siya ng compartment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Right? There are two ways on how to do that. Para malocate natin kung saan sa 6 areas makikita ang isang raw score. Pwede mong gamitin ang standard deviation method, pwede rin naman yung z-score method. Let's start with standard deviation. This is the formula of standard deviation. Now, don't worry because you will not be asked to compute manually standard deviation. Kaya ko lang naman pinapakita yung formula para makita nyo na this is a legitimate mathematical concept. But you no longer compute this manually. Our softwares already do that for us. And this happens in less than 1 second. Kaya nang computein ang standard deviation ng isang set of scores. Got that? So given a set of scores, pwede nang makuha ng softwares kung ano ang standard deviation ng set of scores na yon. But basically, ano bang sinasabi ng standard deviation? It tells us how far any score is from the mean. Sa Tagalog, gaano kalayo ang score sa isa't isa, lalong-lalo na gaano kalayo ang isang score from the mean. Maliwanag. So halimbawa, bigyan ko kayo ng mga illustrations, no? Ang score, ang raw score na nakuha natin is 46 over 100. And then, yung average ng population na to is 40. And based on our software, ang standard deviation ng scores na ito, ng population na to is 5. The question now is, given that the raw score is 46, nasaan ang 46 sa 6 compartments? Saang area of the normal curve natin maiispatan ang 46 over 100? Again, standard deviation can help us do this. Okay? So, paano? Paano makakatulong ang standard deviation in locating 46 over 100 in the normal curve? So, i-apply natin yung mga basic principles, no? Ready? Halimbawa, ito yun, no? 46 over 100, nasaan siya sa normal curve? Ano ang gitna? Yung mean, the average. Kaya yung gitna nito, ng curve na ito is 40 because according to the data, 40 nga yung mean. So, the middle of the curve is 40. This is the average. And then, punta ka sa kanan. Lalabelan mo na ng certain score yung mga normal points. You start with the right. Diba? Ano raw ang standard deviation? 5. Which means, mag-add ka ng 5 pa kanan. So, kung 40 ito, yung first normal point on the right will be 45. 40 plus 5 equals 45. Mag-add ka na naman ng 5, magiging 50. Mag-add ka na naman ng 5, magiging 55. Ganun din sa kaliwa. But this time, minus 5. Again, saan natin nakukuha yung 5? Kasi nga ang standard deviation, according to the computation, is 5. So, 40 minus 5 is 35. And then minus 5 mo ulit, 30. And then minus 5 mo ulit, 25. O ngayon, nakikita nyo na ba kung ano ang silbi niyan? I-align natin ng saglit. Ano ngayon ang use niyan? So what? Kung nagamit na natin yung standard deviation that way, now it's easy to locate where 46 is in the normal curve. So, nasaan ang 46 sa normal curve? I'm gonna place 46 here. Right? Kasi ito yung area ng 45 to 50. 46 falls into this area. Anong interpretation natin sa 46? It's going to be above average. O, di ba? Naging malaking tulong ang standard deviation in helping us interpret what the raw score means. Another example, halimbawa, meron tayong raw score na 35 over 100. This time, ang average natin is 50. And the standard deviation, according to the software computation, is 8. Key question, paano natin may interpret yung 35 over 100? Nasaan ang 35 over 100 sa normal curve? So, we do the same procedure. Ano ang gitna? The mean is 50, so the middle of the curve will be 50. Standard deviation is 8, which means there are 8 units that separate each score from each other. So if the middle of the curve is 50 and standard deviation is 8, mag-add ka ng 8 to the right. So the first normal point to the right will be 58, second normal point to the right will be 66, third normal point to the right will be 74. Pagkaliwa, minus 50 minus 8, 42, minus 8, 34 minus 8, 26. Now, it's easy to see nasaan ang score ng 35. 35, ano ang ibig sabihin niyan? 35 is located here. 35 means low average. So, hindi maganda ang performance nito. Kasi, nag-fall siya below the average. Hindi siya magaling kumpara sa pangkaraniwan, which is the average. You got that? Now, there are some situations where yung raw score mo, eksaktong-eksakto sa normal point. Halimbawa, yung raw score mo is 58. It happens na yung 58, yun din yung normal point. Eksaktong-eksakto doon siya. Ang tanong, anong tawag mo sa 58? Is it going to be average or above average? Ang sagot, kung ano yung nasa kaliwa ng raw score na yan, yun pa rin yung interpretation niya. So, in this case, 58 is average. Kasi, yung above average, magsisimula yan saan? Kapag ang raw score mo is 59 hanggang 66. Got that? So, laging yung component to the left of that raw score. So, kung ito 58, ang nasa left niya is average, average siya. Another example, halimbawa, sumakto na naman yung raw score mo sa isang normal point which is 42. Ang tanong, anong ibig sabihin ngayon ng 42? Low average ba yan or average? Ang sagot, low average yan. Kasi magiging average yung raw score kapag pumatak yan ng 43 hanggang 50. 42 still belongs under low average. So, 42 is still low average. Is that clear? So, yan ang silbi ng standard deviation in helping us locate where the raw score is in the normal curve. Kaya nga, ang application dito in the future when you become psychologist and psychometrician, kapag naka-encounter ka ng raw score at gagamitin mo yung standard deviation system, ano ang key question na dapat mong tinatanong to give meaning to this raw score? Ito ang key question. How many standard deviation below or above the mean is this raw score? More or less, that will give you an idea kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng raw score na yan. Kaya i-add ko lang, no, in the yellow box, it's also very critical to compute for the mean and standard deviation of a set of scores, which is very easy to do because our softwares already do that for us. So, wag na kayo mamroblema na manually nyo pa i-compute yan, hindi na ginagawa yan. And also, it's very important, number 2, na dapat yung mga binibigyan mo ng test, halimbawa, nasa norm construction ka pa lang, binubuo mo pa lang yung norm mo, mahalaga na yung mga tao na sumasagot sa test mo, sa pagbuo ng norm mo, representative sample in pilot testing. Para yung curve mo maging fair sa lahat ng tao na kukuha ng test. Dito natin dapat i-apply yung konsepto ng inclusivity and diversity. Hindi kung saan-saan natin ina-apply na mali naman yung application. No? Dapat dito, in the way we construct our norm, all subgroups of people was represented in the normal curve that you have constructed. Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. Mabilisan. Kung ano yung pwedeng gawing strategy to make your normal curve more or less perfectly normal. Alright? May kinalaman dyan ang inclusivity and diversity. Anyway, another way that will help us identify where the raw score is in the normal curve is the use of the z-score system. In fact, between the standard deviation and the z-score system, ito yung mas common na ginagamit ng mga psychometricians. Okay? Ano ang formula para makuha mo ang z-score ng isang raw score? So, a raw score can be converted to a z-score. And why do you need to do that? Because z-score will give you an idea nasaan ang score sa normal curve. The formula is score minus mean divided by SD, which means for a given set of scores in your norm, dapat alam mo yung score, alam mo yung average, alam mo yung standard deviation of the population. Got that? So let me demonstrate how z-score can help us interpret raw scores. Halimbawa, ang raw score na nakuha mo is 77 over 100, and then the population mean is 65, and then the standard deviation is 5. So, kukumputin mo ngayon yung z-score equivalent ng 77 over 100 by using this formula. To make the long story short, if you correctly apply this formula, the z-score is gonna be positive 2.4. Ang tanong, ano ang silbi ng positive 2.4 na z-score? Madali na siyang i-locate sa normal curve. So, kung titignan nyo yung inyong kanan, i-zoom in natin. Kung titignan nyo to, nasaan ngayon ang positive 2.4? Somewhere here. Excellent yan. Nasa compartment 6 yan. Kasi ito positive 2. Meron pa siyang 0.4. So, medyo nandito na yan. excellent na ang tawag dyan. And it's understandable kasi nga ang score niya 77 eh. Yung average nga ng population 65 lang. So, nalampasan niya ang pangkaraniwang performance ng mga tao in this population. Magaling to. Excellent ito. Got that? Another example. Meron tayong raw score of 62. Let's say the population mean is 70 and then kinompute natin ang standard deviation, it's 5. Apply mo na naman tong formula na to, x minus mean divided by standard deviation, it's gonna give you a z-score of negative 1.6. Ngayon, yung negative 1.6 na yan, z-score of negative 1.6, ano ang silbi nito? Now we know that this score is located somewhere in this component. Low average yan. Kasi ito ang negative 1, pakaliwa, nandiyan somewhere ang negative 1.6, hindi ito magandang performance, below average. Got that? So, by using the z-score system, natutulungan tayo kung paano interpret ang mga raw scores. Now, let me give you a general guide kung paano mag-interpret ng z-scores. Now, as you can see on the slide, the further away the z-score is from 0, the more exceptional the original score. Values of z less than negative 2 or greater than positive 2 can be considered exceptional or unusual. Kumbaga, ito yung mga high average, higher than average. Pero kapag lumagpas ka na sa third normal point, values of z less than negative 3 or greater than positive 3, less than negative 3, ito yung extreme left ng curve, positive 3, ito yung extreme right ng curve, ito na yung mga tinatawag na exceptional or mga outliers. It's either sobrang galing or sobrang hindi magaling. Okay? Actually, may hindi pa nga sinabi dito eh. So, idagdag ko lang, kapag ang z-score na nakukuha mo is from negative 1 to positive 1, then more or less, ito yung mga average scores. Got that? Kumbaga, going back here, ito yung blue area. From negative 1 to positive 1, that score represents someone who is average in the population. Okay? And again, why is it important na ilocate natin ang score in the normal curve using z-score? Because that is where the meaning of the score will come from. Nagigets ninyo? Hindi nyo may interpret kung anong ibig sabihin ng raw score kung hindi nyo alam nasaan siya sa normal curve. And z-score helps us do that. Where is the score in the normal curve? Now, another alternative other than the z-score is also called the t-score. So, iba yung z-score, iba yung t-score. Sa t-score, wala na tayong pakialam sa standard deviation at sa average ng isang testing population. Because in t-score, ang ginagawa natin, let me just resize this, ang nangyayari sa t-score, ginagawa na nating constant yung mean and standard deviation. So, regardless kung ano ang population mo, ipagpapalagay mo, i-assume mo, kahit hindi mo pa i-compute, constant nga ito eh, i-assume mo that the average of all these scores is 50 and the standard deviation is 10. Fix yan. Regardless kung anong population yung dinidil mo. The average is assumed to be 50 and the standard deviation is assumed to be 10. And then you apply the formula of the z-score here. Score minus mean divided by S. The standard deviation of that population. Now, although ang 10 dito, yun na nga yung fix na SD natin. Okay, now, ano ang advantage ng t-score system? This time, mas madali siyang i-visualize because you're gonna summarize the performance of a person in a scale of 0 to 100, which is more common in our everyday language. Diba? Gaano ka kagaling in a scale of 0 to 100? Gaano ka kaganda in a scale of 0 to 100? Gaano ka katalino in a scale of 0 to 100? Kasi kapag z-score, ang hirap i-represent sa mind natin kasi we don't see things as positive 1, positive 2, or positive 3, or negative 1, negative 2, or negative 3. Diba? Pero pag t-score, yan, in a scale of 0 to 100, gaano ka kalupit. T-score does that for us. Ngayon, halimbawa, ang raw score natin is 77. Ang population mean natin is 65. The standard deviation of that set of scores is 5. Although again, sa formula, meron na tayong nakaset na standard deviation of 10. Pero gagamitin pa rin natin yung SD dito. Okay? So, you apply the formula, ano ang makukuha mo? T equals 74. So, gaano ka kagaling in a scale of 0 to 100? 74. Nalagpasan mo yung average which is 50, so that means medyo above average ka. Mas magaling ka sa mga normal. Pero konti lang, hindi ka naman exceptional. Are you getting my point? Yun ang purpose ng T-score. Okay? So, T-score can be summarized this way. Ayan. Nakarelate din naman yan sa normal curve. So, in a scale of 0 to 100, again, makikita mo kung nasaan ang score in the normal curve, enabling you to interpret what that raw score means. So, kung ang T-score na nakuha mo is 55, edi 55 nandito, average yon. Kung ang nakuha mong T-score is 72, o edi nandito yon, 72, diba? Edi 72 somewhere here, high average ang tawag sa 72. Okay? But don't confuse, ha? Whether that's T-score or Z-score, nakakonect naman yan sa normal curve. So, this is to summarize what T-score and Z-score is. Ito yung mga equivalent interpretation given the T-score or the Z-score that you have computed. Yan, nagigets nyo. So, yan ang silbi ng normal curve via Z-score and T-score in helping us interpret the raw score. Kaya ang application dito is, again, given any raw score, kung gusto mong ma-interpret yung raw score na yan, ano ang key question na dapat mong masagot para magawa mo yan? Ano ang Z-score equivalent ng raw score na yan? Ano ang T-score equivalent ng raw score na yan? Nagigets ninyo? At binigay ko na yung formula. Diba? I-replay nyo na lang kung ano ang formula ng Z-score at ng T-score para ma-interpret mo yung ibig sabihin ng raw score na yan. That's why, again, same yellow box, number 1, is very critical to compute for the mean and the standard deviation of the population that you're dealing with. And more importantly, number 2, dito ko na to i-highlight, it's very important na habang ginagawa mo yung norm mo, shout out to those students who are currently developing their norms. Dapat yung binibigyan mo ng mga test mo to which you will base your norm from representative sample. I-apply natin yung konsepto ng inclusivity and diversity in constructing your norm. Alright? So, anong ibig sabihin ng inclusivity and diversity dito? Ganyan. Halimbawa, DLSU student ang population mo. Diba? DLSU student yung population mo. In the future, itong test na to, kukunin ng mga estudyante sa Lasal. Dapat, yung norm na panggagalingan ng norm table mo, well represented. Which means, lahat ng kolehiyo sa Lasal, nakasama sa norming. Meron kang mga samples galing sa CLA, may mga sumagot ng test mo galing sa COE, galing sa RVR, COB, so on and so forth. Lahat ng kolehiyo sa Lasal, meron ka. That will make your overall norm well represented. Kaya magiging confident ka in the future na tama yung interpretation ng normal curve mo sa raw score na nakukuha mo. Alright? And one more reminder for those of you who are currently working on the norm. Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin ng isang norm, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin ng isang curve if in the first place, yung itsura niya, hindi siya normal curve. More or less, dapat yung curve mo, ang shape niya normal. Hindi pwedeng skew to the left and skew to the right. The moment that you discover that your curve is skewed to the left or skewed to the right, or it's not perfectly normal, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yan as basis for interpreting future raw scores. Kaya nga dapat, kapag nakakolekta ka na ng pilot test mo, kinuha mo na yung mga raw scores mo, i-check mo muna, given these raw scores, kapag plinat ko ba to sa curve, magiging normal ba yung shape niya? That's very important. And how would you know? How would you know na yung shape ng mga scores mo represents more or less a normal curve, kaya kagagamit ng mga test of normality? Revihin nyo na lang yung SAISTA classes ninyo kung paano ba niraran yung test of normality. But basically, ang ginagawa ng test of normality, like Shapiro-Wilk, sasabihin niya sa'yo kung yung set of scores mo ba, kapag ginawa nating curve, more or less, ang shape niya, normal curve. The moment na sinabi ng Shapiro-Wilk, for example, hindi normal curve yung shape ng scores mo, hindi mo pa pwedeng gawin yan. Hindi mo pa pwedeng gamitin yan as a norm in interpreting future raw scores. So, paano po sir kung ganon? Hindi po daw normal curve yung curve ko. O, kaya nga, dito natin i-connect yung well-represented. In the first place, dapat kasi yung mga kinuha mong participants well-represented. That will increase the chance na yung curve ng scores mo will be shaped normally. O, kaya habang maaga pa, habang hindi pa kayo nakakapag-pilot testing, siguraduhin ninyo lahat ng subpopulations of your target population are considered in the norming process. Kasi, isa sa mga reasons kung bakit hindi nagiging normal ang shape ng isang curve, bakit? Hindi well-represented yung population na kumuha ng test during the pilot testing. More or less, it will make your curve skewed to the left or skewed to the right. So, how do you increase the chance na magiging normal yung curve mo? Based on Shapiro-Wilk, apply this. Dapat subpopulations, all subpopulations under your general population who are the intended takers of your test must be considered in pilot testing. Maliwanag? So yan ang maikling lecture natin on how normal curve can help us interpret test scores. Sana marami kayong natutunan. If you have any questions, comments, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Sir Howard here. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.